Hey guys, is it honeysuckle yet? You see my button? This is a button. Isn't that cool? These just came in today. They're from the Blumenthal company, and I bought them at Craft and Hobby Association. Shelly's upstairs inventorying them, so we hope to have them on the site. This is definitely honeysuckle, because everything was honeysuckle at CHA. But here's my version. I've been painting cuffs. And I mixed up some, and I think this is about right. Look, pretty close, huh? But this is what we're going to do today. We're going to apply paint to cuffs to make bases. It's so easy. You're going to have a ball. I wiped out, I don't know, 12 cuffs doing this. But I also did some stampings to show you how neat it is. Like you can wipe away paint and then let it dry and some Gilders over top of it to make some really cool effects. Here's one that I did a little while ago with a combination of Lumiere paints, some Adirondack Dappers, and a little bit of Gilders, and then I finished it with diamond glaze to seal. You do have to seal it. No getting around it. There's several ways to do it, but you've got to seal the paint. Not hard. You just let it cure first. So isn't that cool? I mean, couldn't you just like put that on and just wear it and not do anything to it? You absolutely could, but you know, who stops there, right? Especially around here, we embellish everything. So come on over here. I'm going to show you how I do it and how I mix up honeysuckle pink. Okay, so here we are back. Isn't it nice? We got a little bit of coffee house music tonight, or today, in the Messy Workshop. It's kind of neat, a little bit of creative ambiance. We're going to talk about the color honeysuckle. I think that's pretty close, don't you? Pretty close. This is a little more intense. So I'm going to show you how you mix it. Okay, because I've got some things done here that I've done. And I'll paint some more and show you how I do it. So here with these paints, I'm using Folk Art brand by Plaid, which I just picked up in a, I don't know, Pakistan store. Real easy to find. You can. What's up with this? What is this, rawhide?
Jordan, don't you quit fooling around. We got orders to pull.
Well, she's crusty, isn't she? At least somebody's in charge around here. Well, that was nice while it lasted. Maybe. I don't know. We had to try something different. And I think he needs to rehearse a little more. Anyway, let's get back to honeysuckle. I used Folk Art paints by Plaid. I don't carry these on the site. There's no need to. You can get them in Walmart. You can get them anywhere, okay? They're just, you know, your standard paints, acrylics. And here's how I did it. And you guys will see I am no mixed media major because the way I do this. I just squirt out a glurp, like a blob of this one, which is called Magenta, 412 Magenta. Then I put out a blob of 413 Pink. So you can see it's like in the same family. The numbers are so close. Another blob. I don't even want to say what that looks like. Folk Art 901 Wicker White. This is just stuff I had in a drawer. Okay, so let's get a little bit less white. Don't. I think I wiped it out. Well, you know what? We can fix that. We will just do. I mean, like I say, I'm not a mixed media major, but I know when you put more dark, it gets darker. That ought to take care of it. Okay, let's see what we get. All right. And I like to use these little spongy things because I don't like clean up, so I get them in a big bag for a couple of bucks. So when I do this, which is not that often, I buy these, but you do what you want. You can clean them out if you want. So I'm going to mix this up, but I think I might leave some lights and darks in this big pot of glurp because it might give me some dimension, Not dementia, dimension. Okay, so here's my cuff base. I'm going to show you how I do a cuff base. Now, this was raw brass, and I prime my raw brass when I'm going to use this stuff. This is just spray paint and an ivory, just like primer, okay? Now I'm going to get all messy, but this is so simple. Just blob it on. And why it's so neat is because this is our dimpled cuff base. We're a little low stock on them on the site, but they are reordered and we will have them soon. And I may have a few more down here that I could share with you if I get even lower. But something with texture, even if you have something there already with texture. I love this base. I do this base but look at that, it just goes on so smoothly. And don't worry about it if you don't get it on like real thick. That's probably better because it'll cure faster. You do have to let acrylic paint cure. If you don't, because it's water-based, then your sealant may not stick to it. I know if you do ice resin over, if it's not bone dry to the bottom of the barrel, the ice resin will not work. So that's another little tip for you. If you're painting ice resining over acrylic, it's got to be cured. Really good and cured. Anyway, that's all there is to it. And you could paint your inside too if you want, but I usually Gilders over that, and I'll show you that too. But I'm going to set this aside for now, but that's basically all it is. And I think any of these acrylic paints would probably work for you. But I'm going to show you some stuff that I did and differences. Okay, now, here are some of those bases that I did. You can see it dries very, very matte. So you're going to want to do something over that. And it will scratch very easily too at this point, but we're going to fix that up. Here are some that are finished. So you can see closer. I did Gilders inside. I think that's Inca Gold. And then I did a purple Adirondack paint dabber and got my purple on there. And I think I did some of the copper too, which is, where is it? Right here. Just dabbed it. And then when that was good and dry, I took some Gilder's paste on my rag and just buffed it around on the inside. Let it cure real good. And then I spray varnished this. Matte spray lacquer. You get it at the hardware store. Okay? That's what I used over this. Now this one I sponged. Okay, so it's got a little bit of texture to it. Can you see that? So nice sponge with the teal dabbers and the copper, I think lettuce, and a little bit of, maybe it was patina Gilders, and then I let it dry. You can see the inside. And then what I did is I did diamond glaze, which I simply just put in a little cup, squirted it out in there, and took another one of these things, and just the same way as I painted this, just went over this inside and out, though, because you got to seal it all, okay? And then let it dry overnight. If you were going to sell these, I wouldn't make a bunch of these to take to like a craft fair and then take them out, in a couple of days. I'd let them cure for a good week before I sold them to anybody. But anyway, that's real pretty how that came out. Another one that I did. Okay, this one is the purple and copper, and it's got some of the Inca Gold. And I think I rubbed a little of the Honeysuckle and gold inside here. And this one is also diamond glaze finish. So that's kind of cool. This one, though, yeah, that one was a diamond glaze finish, too. Now, this is interesting, though. I did honeysuckle over one of our great big 5-inch filigrees that comes on the site in raw. Did it real thick and matte like this. It looked like this to begin with. And then I took Gilders and rubbed over it, gold and silver, inside and out. And then this is matte spray lacquered. Very simple. It's so much fun. You can also use your Lumiere paints. You could put your Lumiere paints, in one of these wells. You can do that too. They're beautiful because they have the mica in them. So it's really, a cool thing to use. Another thing you can do, if you have some highs and lows, especially in findings like a rose, like this rose, you can do a little bit of smooch. But I got to tell you about smooch. Now this stuff is made mostly for paper. And so you don't want to paint a whole thing with smooch. Not metal. Paper you can. But just to fill in where you miss some little places is cool, or for accent. But then you've really got to seal that because smooch will just kind of disappear on you. It's just, it's really easy to use, and I love this stuff, but I decided not to carry it because I was afraid people would be writing to me all the time saying, oh, it disappeared, where'd it go? It's just, you kind of have to get a technique to using it, and I thought we would just kind of stick with what we have. But you can get this at a scrapbooking store, and it works out kind of cool. So that's another idea for you. This one I used a little smooch for touch-up. But you got to be sure then you seal it. As soon as it's dry, I use the matte spray on this. So this started out like this, which is still a little wet. Started out like this, but then I used some Gilders, gold and silver, front and back, and then it's sealed both sides. This one was completely matte, just like this. But what I did is before the paint dried, I wiped it away. I wiped it away. And I don't know if there's something here that maybe I could do and show you that technique. You're probably familiar with that technique. There's nothing new about that technique. But just real quick, to put a little bit, lay a little paint on here. Oh man, I got to get new baseboards because this is just getting really nasty. But okay, so I've got a thick layer, so just wipe it away. A little bit. Wipe it away. And expose some of that underneath. You see what I'm saying? You know, however you want. I did it straight with the lines of this. Now, here's another thing I wanted to tell you. If you're using paint, here's the cuff that we set up for Hillary's challenge, her blog hop. And I did 3 coats of this on here. And you can still see streaks. This is going to need to be really well sealed. I would probably sponge over top of this and put some color with it because it's kind of hard to get it looking right on a flat cuff surface. You can do it, you know, but this, you know, this has a lot of possibilities. Just to show you, this was that cab from last week. Look at that. Isn't that cool? That really pops. I like that. Or another idea would be to take some of the Prima flowers, maybe, and put something fabric in there. That's kind of cute. Of course, you know, then it kind of turns it a little bit into throwaway jewelry. If you put fabric in it, it's going to shorten the life. But it's fun, you know, and sometimes not everything has to be, you know, like big opus Smithsonian, keep it in an archive work. Okay, here's something else I did. This is still not quite set up, but this is a sponge. You see how I sponged this? This has a lot of the silver on it. This is all sponge. And then I took and I did, I think it was patina Gilder's paste under this. I did it actually a long time ago for a video, and I didn't really quite like it, so I went over it with a little bit of the honeysuckle and then wiped it away, did some gold, did some copper, and there we go. And that's setting up. So now what I want to do before it gets too late on this video is I want to show you how I take some Gilder's paste and add some dimension. Okay. Open your Gilders, get a little bit on the rag. Here's a nice, where's that nice matte one that I was using? Oh, this one. No, that's just paint. I can't remember. Okay, this will work. Okay. Just go over it lightly. You know, you don't want to get a whole bunch on here because then pretty soon your whole cuff's going to be silver, right? And it won't show through the way you want. Just a little bit to tinge it up, and it brings the design out a little bit. I kind of wonder what black would look like if I would give it a real Frenchy look or if it would end up just looking murky. Someday off camera I'll try one and I'll let you know. But there's an idea. And then, you know, like maybe go inside a little bit too. Now you got to let this dry and cure really good before you do anything else with it, and you're going to have to seal it, whether it's diamond glaze on a sponge or if you want to really mix, be sure it's really good and cured, and do ice resin on a sponge. That would be, to me, the ultimate, what you'd want to do. That's a good idea. Now sometimes I want to do maybe another color over that, so a good color might be this Inca Gold, which is kind of rich. Actually, copper dapper. Maybe let's try that. Let's see what that looks like. Copper dapper. A little bit. See how that works? Just kind of sponges it. And you know, if you don't like it, see, look, you just smooth it out with your finger a little bit. Then maybe over this for a little bit more accent, I will take a little bit of this Inca Gold. And now I've really got something neat for color. It just is experimenting, you know, play with your color wheel, see what you got in your Gilders, and I like the metallics over the honeysuckle. It's cool. And then I'll let this cure, and then I will probably diamond glaze it with a sponge because I really like that. Another thing that works is Ranger glossy accents, or even, let's just look at that a little bit more. Even your scalpy finish sometimes will work real well on that too. But this gives you a lot of ideas of what's going on there. We've got a lot of cool looking things here. I've got a lot of stuff to work with. This one was neat. I did kind of a lettuce base and some Lumiere. I keep saying that wrong. A little bit of gold, a little bit of silver, and then this is diamond glaze. That's such a cool sagey kind of color. Very muted. Very pretty. Like say this gets done and I put that on. Might be kind of cool. Here's another idea. Once it's dry, you could just wrap it with fiber and little beads. Maybe I will take a little button on, or maybe that. Or some cute little thing. This would be a nice gift for a young lady. Why not? So there's a lot of ideas. The next step is for you to take and run with it. And do me one better and let me know how it went for you, because I care and I want to know. In the meantime, I'm going to go work on my honeysuckle pieces, and you're going to have to check my blog out to see what they look like and what I did with them. And maybe you want to show me your pictures, so upload them to the Facebook page because I want to see.